Hello and welcome to another Severe Cinema podcast. I'm Kelly. This is Ryan. I am also known as Ginger Tub.
Hey, you did it.
This is Severe Cinema. Today we are talking about another Nic Cage film. It's 2 in a row. I'm not ready for it to be like a full-on series thing. It just kind of happened that way. Last week's, I know you all watched it. Last week's was Between Worlds. The thumbnail, you'll probably recognize it was me with his Nic Cage's balls in my hand. So go check that one out. That one was fantastic. No, it wasn't. It was absolutely terrible. This one was actually better, though. I think we both agreed that the Humanity Bureau was better than Between Worlds.
And wasn't it like the first thing you noticed about it being better was shaving Nic Cage?
Yeah. The fact that Nic Cage only had like 1.5 chins instead of 2, and they were clean shaven, immediately made me like this movie better. Everything else about it could have been worse, and I still would rate it higher just on the fact that I don't have to see like scraggly, chubby old man Nic Cage.
And no Speedos in this one either.
Yeah, and there weren't any Speedos, which you guessed there weren't going to be, but we didn't know until we got done that there wasn't. Oh, shit.
So there's that.
Yeah, we were going to watch, at some point, we're going to watch Darkness. But we're going to do that
Show
old
that
style.
motherfucking DVD.
Yep, I'm pulling it up. Winky face. Darkness. That was... Now, did he help make it, or was he just one of the actors? Your buddy?
He was just one of the actors, and he was also my roommate for a time.
Right, okay.
The person you just saw on the cover there is who I'm talking about.
His former roommate and one of the actors in the movie. We're going to watch that one sometime. We're going to do it the old style. So if you've been around for a while, you'll know that we used to do like Mystery Science Theater 3000 type videos where Ryan and I sat on a couch and we kind of watched a movie with the audience and would react to it and give our opinions and stuff, and then we would kind of edit it down. We want to do that again with this one because it's been a long time coming.
So sometime for that.
I'm going to try not to have every bad movie that we watch over the next however long be Nic Cage's. He'll be, because we could probably just make this like a Nic Cage bad movie channel and never run out. He's got a few gems out there.
The Rock.
That are real good. The Rock, others, and but they're more bad than good. So many like straight to DVD, straight to Netflix type movies. So the Humanity Bureau. So before Ryan, are you going to be able to give like a overall plot line?
Yep.
Okay. So he's going to give like the overall plot line from beginning to end. I'm just going to kind of give you pretty much what it says at the very beginning of the movie, which is basically due to a bunch of bullshit, there ended up being like civil war in the world, and it caused like not really an apocalypse, but kind of, was there actually nuclear war?
Mm-mm.
No? But yeah, like due to all of the fighting and whatnot.
Maybe there was, because they're talking about rads and
talking about the radiation,
dirty
up
water,
north, and there's no clean water like anywhere. Crops don't grow, stuff like that. It's kind of a post-apocalyptic world, and like really that's kind of the premise behind what it says in the intro, and then our movie starts.
So the Humanity Bureau is a government organization who evaluates the usefulness of its citizens. And so it's all in America. and they send various agents out to interview and assess people's usefulness to society. So the first scene is Nic Cage is one of these agents, of course, and he goes to meet with this old man who has decided he wanted to just be a piece of shit and live in squalor and not be told what to do, you know, freedom. Anyway, so if you're during this evaluation, if you score low enough, you have to go to a place that they call New Eden. New Eden is supposed to be like this new start,
like a relocation place where pieces of shit can go and again be part of society.
But they don't tell you how this happens, like how you become useful. They just say, okay, well, you're useless here. We're going to send you to New Eden where you'll be useful. You have to go.
You have 12 hours to pack your shit.
Yeah, 12,
we'll be back.
12 fucking hours. Anyway, but there's as you might have imagined, there's a dark secret shrouding New Eden. We'll know what that is. I'll tell you what that is here in a moment. So like people in like rural areas usually score pretty low, and so they have to go to New Eden. Anyway, Nic Cage is looking for his son, but we don't know that yet in the beginning of the movie.
You don't know that yet. I guess what they would know is that he went to a farmhouse in like a rural outskirts to do an interview with some people there to see if they provided usefulness to the government or not.
Now, this farmhouse, was this like this wasn't assigned to him, right? He kind of worked it so that he could have this one, right?
Right. So as far as I could tell, like the dynamic of it wasn't really that he got assignments. I feel like it was kind of like a pool where he was just like, he and other agents would be like, okay, I'll take that one and that one and that one. Like,
Okay.
I didn't get an indication that there was anybody in charge of him that was assigning him jobs. He was just doing them. So I assume it was like a pool of jobs situation.
Okay. So, and keep in mind, so like pretty much everywhere, there's really hard to find clean water. And a lot of places people don't, like this, in this particular case, this farmhouse that it's just a woman and her son, they would eat 2 meals a day and drink yellow water. So anyway, he goes to talk with them. They don't score high enough, so they get assigned to New Eden. Gives them 12 hours.
They get the 12-hour notice.
Shit.
Yep.
And so I forget how. So he had already been in. So there's a splinter group that knows that New Eden is not what they say it is. Now,
That knows the truth.
Yeah. So I forget how. Was he already talking to them, or did they approach him at this point?
They approached him. So like he had been having doubts. Excuse me. So he had been having doubts. And then he went and did the interview with the woman and her son. They gave him more doubts because of, feelings and whatnot. And so he delayed their order by 24 hours. Then one of his coworkers, the bald dude, basically in what could have just been like an office conversation, broke into his house and threatened him. Like, you're up and coming in the bureau. You shouldn't be delaying shit. These people have 24 hours. Get the fuck out. blah, 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 blah. And that's when it kind of solidifies in his mind, like, okay, shit's broke. And that's when, like, shortly after that, somebody, for whatever reason, this part escapes me, reached out to him.
The elevator scene.
Yeah. Somebody reached out to him. They gave him a note first and told him to go to the greenhouse.
The greenhouse.
And then he found an envelope with an address, and then he went there, and they gave him the microchip.
National treasure all over again.
Yep.
Man.
And then they gave him the microchip.
There's just another clue.
There's always one more clue.
So he was given a data shard, or what?
I think
what we would.
What were they calling it?
I don't remember. But it's basically a thumb drive.
Like a memory chip or some shit like that.
And so all we see is the back of his head, and he's looking at the data on this thing, and it's apparently showing him the horrors of New Eden, and he's like, "What have we done?" And then it cuts, and so we don't know yet what New Eden actually is.
Yeah, because he doesn't. Like, we see the back of his head, like you said, and then he goes, "What am I looking at?" And the little computer says, "This is New Eden." He goes, "What have we done?"
Yeah. Even though that's not actually how it was actually
right.
being done, because we that scene is shown to us again later
from the perspective, like, face on, instead of the back of his head. We see the other perspective of it, and and like you were saying, is not how it happened.
So let's see. So the Bureau is already suspected him. Their suspicions get confirmed. I guess I'm gonna kind of go faster.
Yeah, I do that same thing when I have to do these little reviews too.
So then the action starts. So the agency, or the Bureau, comes after him. He then teams up with the woman and her child, and they go on the run. So they have several close calls. Oh, and Dodge Durangos.
Yep.
Are the vehicle of the enemy.
The agents, aside from Nic Cage, all drive Dodge Durangos. Nic Cage, because he's the main character, has like a Chevy El Camino that is super badass, and he ends up having to trade in for an old Woody wagon.
So they go on the run. So while he's eluding the Bureau agents and killing them and whatnot, we cut to a scene where some of the higher ups of the government are standing around this pallet of boxes, and they're discussing, like, we have to stop him and blah 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 blah. And then the main guy opens up the box, and there's, like, you called it bone meal. And he pulls out a whole tooth, and then the woman that's standing next to him is like, or he asks, "You know what this is?" And she's like, "It apparently is a child's tooth." Like, all right. So we assume that New Eden, because they're talking about New Eden, and he brought that pallet there to prove a point. So we concluded that New Eden is basically a big grinder that grinds people up into bone meal, and so they get used as food.
We assume.
Yeah.
So we find out for sure that they are killing people there. That the entirety of New Eden is a 20-acre gas chamber with 6 different ovens. Like, we find that out for sure. So we know that people are at least going there to die. But the fact that they had, like, production pallets of boxes filled with bags filled with what appears to be bone meal, I would assume they're feeding it to people.
So
it might not be, but it seems like it.
In the very beginning, they did say that, like, food, like, you can't, you said nothing grows.
Right.
And they said that food production, like, is basically non-existent.
Yep.
So there you go. That's the food supply for the elites.
Got to keep the rich people fed, so they can keep the economy fed, so they can all die of whatever it is that you die of
Dysentery.
when you eat too many people. No, that's just diarrhea till you die. It's the human version of mad cow disease, because that's how you get mad cow disease, is you feed cows cow. And one of the proteins fucks up their brains. Well, a similar thing happens to humans. When you eat too many humans, you'll go fucking nuts.
Does it make you shake?
Maybe.
Because that's what it was in Book of Eli.
Oh, God. That movie was good. That was a good-ass movie. Shit, but I don't remember what the name of the disorder or disease or whatever it is that you get. Mad human disease, I guess. I don't know. When you eat too many people.
Well, all right. So they, there is, I was about to skip ahead too far. All right. So Nic Cage then, so it is then revealed that the boy is Nic Cage's son. The boy's mother, who we thought the boy's mother was the neighbor of the mother. And the mother's actually dead, and they knew each other, Nic
Right.
Cage and this woman.
No.
Oh, so
Okay.
I thought he was saying, like, because she wanted to tell the kid the truth, and then he's like, okay, well, so is that what you want to do? You want to tell him that I'm his father, and you're not really his mother, and we actually knew each other, but we're acting like we didn't.
He said something to that effect, but it wasn't exactly that.
Okay.
So, basically, he knew the kid's mother before, obviously, because they had a baby. And then when the child turned 2, the mother, the real mother, tried to sell him for food to people that would quite honestly maybe even eat the child.
That's probably why they were buying it.
Right. And so the neighbor, the person that we know to be the boy's mother, the neighbor, fought with the biological mom about this. And in the altercation, there was an accident. We don't know exactly what it was. And the woman, the biological mother, died. And so the neighbor kind of took over the mothering of the boy. She never told him that she wasn't, his real mom. She assumed the real mom's identity, etc. So when Nic Cage showed up at the house to do their appointment, he was expecting to see the mother that he had knocked up all those years ago and his son. Instead, saw somebody he didn't know mothering his son, and he kind of had to call an audible. But he didn't know her before. Otherwise, she wouldn't have needed to tell him I was her neighbor, et cetera, et cetera. He would have known all that.
So all that gets revealed to the viewer.
Yes. Us.
Yep.
And like maybe 4 other people ever.
So then there is a final confrontation with the bald dude who is the Canadian actor in every Canadian movie ever.
Yep.
And every Canadian TV series ever.
And it's appropriate because the director of this movie is Canadian, and this actor, like, they made their final stand in Canada.
Yeah. Yeah. He's good, though. Like, he was in
he's a good actor.
The Expanse.
Which they renewed for like a new season or something like that.
Oh, I know. And I wanted to jerk off so bad.
Yeah.
He's also in that one fucking movie with the time traveling chick where like the epicenter of human existence happens in Vancouver, Canada.
Never heard of that one.
But, well, it's okay. It's
we were IMDbing a lot of shit last night too. I'm sure I came across it, but I don't think I've ever seen that film.
It was pretty good. She's a cop in Vancouver in the future, and she gets sent back in time.
Well, that's unrealistic. Vancouver in the future doesn't have cops. There's no crime there.
Everybody's just so polite to each other.
Yep. So polite they probably have fights and crime about it. You go first, I insist.
So there's a final showdown with the bald dude who is now now has one eye, and we'll get to that in a moment when we do the breakdown. How that happened. There's a final showdown in which the neighbor / mom dies, Nic Cage dies, and a friendly Canadian sniper who watched all of this happen then intervenes and shoots the bad guy and saves the kid. And so the people that rescued him, I forget who, it was this group.
Yeah, like a group of Canadian like refugees, or not refugees, really,
freedom fighter types.
Yeah, kind of rebels.
They needed proof of the New Eden secret
to kickstart the revolution.
There we go. Yep. And so the boy is having his first soda ever.
Literally ever. Because remember, this is a place where coffee is rare. Clean water is rare. And this boy was drinking a bottled orange soda. So, he was just on cloud 9.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention all that sugar.
Right.
Made him just giddy.
It's probably the first time he's ever had sugar.
Yeah. So they're sitting at a table, and the guy asks, so we need something to the effect of, we need definitive proof. Did he give you anything? And then he looks down and remembers that he had given him a rabbit's foot, and he hands it to him, and inside the rabbit's foot is another USB drive.
Yeah.
And it contains all of the New Eden secrets, and they're like, holy shit, and then the revolution starts, and the movie ends.
And a little video from Nic Cage saying...
Oh, yeah.
Saying something historically inspiring or some shit, and sparks the revolution, and then we see, like, what I'm pretty sure is what would now be stock footage of, like, the LA riots. Because it definitely looked really familiar. But, yeah, and then end movie. Like, it was... So, first of all, it was rated R for violence, for violence, which Ryan will tell you, like, I bitched about a couple of times. I was like, this should not have been rated R. Like, and it was just violence. Like, nobody said a curse word in the whole movie. There was no graphic violence
there was
except...
a few F words.
Was there?
I thought.
If so, I don't remember.
I can't remember a specific instance. But
maybe the bald bad guy might have cursed some, but I don't remember it. But I mean, the violence besides like normal shootout type shit, like I guess you saw like the bullet entry wounds in their heads,
and then the blood,
in the back.
Snow.
But I mean, like I've seen more PG-13 violence.
Mortal Kombat.
I mean, like Avengers is like what, PG or PG-13? It's got significantly more violence. Mm-hmm. Whatever. I was disappointed. I was hoping like for a rated R for violence, like Nic Cage film, like I would see some like shit, and I did not.
If you want violence, watch Darkness.
Violence. Oh, dude.
Holy crap.
I'm sure I'm going to need to just watch a bunch of cat videos after that. Some eye bleach.
So it wasn't terrible. There were some pretty bad moments. There were some weird lines.
It also had some gems, though.
Yeah.
It had some nuggets. I wonder how we would have felt if we'd have watched this before we watched Between Worlds.
Oh, Between Worlds would have been so much worse at that point.
Right. But how would we have felt about this one? Like, would we have thought this one was terrible and then watched Between Worlds and like came back and apologized?
Probably, yeah.
Probably, yeah.
So, a couple things, a couple of funny parts. Or first funny part in the movie was when he's talking to, you remember when he's talking to the motel guy when he goes to meet the old man,
yeah.
Piece of shit?
Yeah, it's real early on.
There's a loose board on the stairs. Don't trip or do.
Yeah, and waits for him to walk out the door so that he could say without getting in trouble, or do.
Mm-hmm.
It really set the tone for the rest of the movie. this little like third grader interaction where Nic Cage is just trying to get some information out of the dude. The dude, is being difficult, and then on his way out, for some reason he decides to be nice, but she didn't need to say anything at all. He was like, "Watch out! There's a loose board on the stairs," and then Nic Cage leaves the room. Don't trip. There's a loose board on the stairs, and then Nic Cage leaves the room or do. And Ryan and I just both looked at each other like, this is how it's going to be, isn't it?
Also, something that kind of felt out of place to me was, okay, so Nic Cage is a cop, essentially a federal agent.
Yeah.
And the guy tries to sell him clean water, which is apparently a felony.
Without a permit. He specifies without a permit.
There's a permit for it.
Yeah, okay. He says selling clean water or selling water, period, one of the two, without a permit is illegal.
And Nic Cage identified himself at the get-go, so the guy knew he was a cop and just tried it anyway. So I just felt that was just kind of just off. And then, of course, the or do part just solidified the whole thing. But I mean,
you're right. It is off. Like, so say here in Kansas, we're in Kansas. Let's say like medicinal marijuana were legal. Obviously, in order to distribute medicinal marijuana, you still have to have a license. So it would be like someone from the FBI coming into like my work at McDonald's or something. And he's like, "Hey, do you know where this person is?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, he's in the back. You want to buy some weed?" He'd be like, You can't sell weed without a license," and I'd be like, "Oh, my bad." And then he would just go on with his day. Yeah, we do what we gotta do, and then he just goes on with his day.
So then,
you want to buy some weed?
So there was when it finally, like when he's done with the interview. So back to the farmhouse, and he's done with the interview, and after he finds out the New Eden is bad and all this, so the agents come for him and the woman and the boy. Mm-hmm. There is there's a couple of shootout scenes, and so the woman has a shotgun, and
like a sawed off.
She comes in there. Oh wait, no, this is the old man. Yeah,
the old man has a shotgun.
The old man has a shotgun, and so. All right, I'm holding the shotgun, and I can't hold it like he did a hip fire thing, mm-hmm. But to illustrate it, I have to do it up here. So he fires the shotgun, and the recoil goes like this. Forward recoil. Not once, but twice this happened. So obviously it was that shitty After Effect muzzle flash crap that they do.
Muzzle flash and sparks and everything afterwards.
And so he's faking the recoil just poorly. Anyway, so that's.
Well, I mean, in his defense, he was 110.
But give the man some blanks. I mean, Jesus Christ.
They were probably worried it was going to kill him, but at least give him some like directive, like some direction. Like be a director. Give him some direction. Be like, "Oh, hey, John. I know you're 1,000 years old, but when you fire a gun, they go backwards."
Not too much to ask, I don't think. What was I going to say? I don't remember. All right, so the next thing was... all right.
Oh, this is going to be good, I can
tell. Nic Cage gets into a grappling match with Bald Dude
in the kitchen,
and oh fuck! All right, well, there's an incident where the kid goes and grabs his pellet gun, and
because he's a ballsy kid,
yeah,
I like this kid.
Runs back into the room, and the Bald Dude is engaged in, I forget if he's grappling with Nic Cage or the woman, but the kid just like straight up boop, and just gets him right in the eye. I mean, dead center in the eye, making it useless. And so
yeah, I mean, you take an air rifle pellet to the eyeball, you don't have that eyeball anymore.
So, homeboy decides to patch himself up with a piece of bread.
And 2 strips of electrical tape. Now, y'all, he was in a kitchen. A kitchen in which a previous scene, I watched a woman use a towel. Yet, when shot in the eye, he grabbed a chunk of sourdough and electrical taped it to his face.
Not even playing.
That's dumb. That, like, I saw that moment in the movie, and it made me kind of grumpy for a second. I was like, that's unrealistically stupid.
I'm glad you said something, because I didn't even know it was a piece of bread.
It was.
Like, I wasn't even paying attention.
Oh, man, I wish I'd have thought about it. We could have, like, beforehand found that on Netflix and, like, screenshotted it and showed it. Like, bread on his eye. Yeah.
So in the same...
Four went towels.
And his friends got there, and then he got himself a real bandage.
Yeah, and then his friends showed up, and next scene, very next scene, he hasn't gone anywhere except into the Dodge Durango, and now he's got like a perfect gauze patch with like electrical, with like medical tape. Yeah.
So in the same gun battle, or the same fight scene, the woman ends up with a handgun, and she fires 3 rounds like this, up in the air.
Wasn't it like the G18? Like
no, that was another one. That's coming up next.
Okay.
No,
right.
she had the actual handgun, and she.
Oh, I remember now.
And you said none of those hit.
Yeah.
And it was obvious that there's no way they could have. So the part you're talking about, she pulled, because Nic Cage has a Glock 18 in like some sort of like stock attachment that I have never seen before, and a Glock 18 is a fully automatic pistol, and so she ends up picking this thing up, and like we saw it coming a mile away. We're gonna see some tactical shit here. She goes, bop, just across the ceiling.
Like if any of you have ever seen Archer, I love that show. Have you seen Archer?
Not all of it, but yeah.
Okay. Well, one of the running gags is that whenever Cyril Figgis gets a gun,
oh god,
he screams suppressing fire while just holding the trigger. Like he will pop out from cover, suppressing fire, and that is immediately what I thought of, because she was like, "I'm gonna help."
Riddled the ceiling with holes.
And it was for me, it was one of the little hidden gems of the movie, because that's exactly what would happen if somebody unfamiliar with a weapon picked up a fully automatic like 9mm and pulled the trigger. It'd go while they looked terrified, and that's how they portrayed it.
Now
I was happy with it.
Later in the movie, she was a expert marksman.
Oh yeah, later in the movie.
Yeah, put 2 in 4 rounds. 4 rounds, 2 dudes' chests.
Yep. They had practiced at some point, apparently.
Yeah, with all that extra ammo they had.
Oh yeah, because food doesn't grow anywhere, but bullets do.
What up, Noctron? And
hey,
shit?
Noctron, what's up, man?
I'm still using my Mickey MCE coffee cup.
Hells yeah. I love that thing. What happened to the color on the back? Is it streaking?
It's probably just coffee.
Oh, yeah, it's just coffee.
Oh, you mean like right here?
Oh, no, I knew that was there. It was just coffee.
It was this. Okay.
I just got barely a glimpse of it. Off work early, that's a pretty legit coffee cup. Hey, hang out soon, guys. Hell yeah. We right here, man.
I saw Billy at the store the other day.
I see Billy at work every day. He and Mr. Ryan and I and you were always saying the same thing. We need to hang out. But it's just like somebody needs to just organize it. Somebody needs to be like, hey Kelly, we're all hanging out on Saturday, whatever. I'll be like, shit, yeah, I'm there. Yeah, out of my department and to tech support. Man, we'd love to have you. We need more people. We ain't got no more chairs though, so we're not gonna be hiring people for a while.
You can share a desk with Billy.
But if I, at the same time, but if I fire some peoples, we'll be hiring for their spots, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, we'll get you, man.
Noctron, have you seen the Humanity Bureau? Kelly?
Noctron, have you seen the Humanity Bureau? If you have, okay, I was about to say, if you have, congratulations on being the 8th person in the world.
Yeah. The last thing I wanted to, the last thing that I at least took notes on that glared at me in this movie was, all right, so there was a scene where there's a guy in like an underground bunker, like basically mission control screens everywhere. Dell screens.
Yeah, Dell screens. So Dell is still a functioning company in post-apocalyptic America. Yeah, dude had like 12 monitors.
Yep, and
Just
everything is
semicircle.
clean and well lit, and everybody looks well fed and everything. Yet nobody can clean water.
Well,
I mean, I know they said the cities hadn't clean water.
yeah, people in the city could. That even Bald Agent had a swimming pool.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. So the big cities are the exception, but for some reason they couldn't do this in mass.
Or they didn't care to. Got to keep the people down.
I'm sure that's what it was supposed to be. But
Oh no, another Nic Cage movie. Yep, that's
damn right.
We were, man, I swear to God, we were trying to figure out what to watch because we decided not to watch one that was recommended to us, which was like what, Swiss Army Man or something like that?
Swiss Army Man, yep.
So we decided not to watch that, and so Ryan came over for movie night, and I literally just typed the word bad into the Netflix search. Scrolled down like just a couple of scrolls until we got past movies that had the word bad in the title, and then it started listing just a whole bunch of shit. Among them were several Nic Cage movies, and then Ryan and I saw just the title of this one. It was just The Humanity Bureau, and then we read the little like description, and we were like, "That's it. That's the one. We got to do it." So we're gonna try not to have every shitty movie that we watch be a Nic Cage movie, but at this point, it's his fault.
Not ours.
Yeah, no, it's not my fault when I type in bad, his movies pop up. But we are always looking for recommendations for shitty, terrible movies to watch here on Severe Cinema.
Not just terrible, shitty terrible.
Shitty, terrible. A little history lesson for you. I'm talking shitty, terrible, like big ass spider, avalanche sharks,
Cowboys versus dinosaurs.
Cowboys versus dinosaurs.
That's my favorite.
That's his favorite. Yep, that's one of my favorites. All right, man. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. What other like just real birdemic?
That was the worst.
Birdemic is so bad it is the standard to which we hold all other movies.
Then so it's got a potential competitor. After last season was recommended to me. I have acquired it, and I have kind of looked at it a little bit, skipped ahead. I don't know.
It's the one you showed me a little bit of, right? Yeah. I even immediately defended it against Birdemic, saying that Birdemic would be worse, and gave a bunch of reasons why. I still think Birdemic is worse.
I just don't know if I want to sit through it.
Oh, yeah, I don't think I really want to try. But maybe, I don't know, we could get real drunk. We definitely get real drunk and watch it. Gone in 60 Seconds, I did enjoy Gone in 60 Seconds. The Rock, hell, even National Treasure has a place in my heart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. He has some golden nuggets out there. But I mean, seriously, you just type bad in Netflix and scroll down far enough, you're going to find movies that the world has never heard of. Like this one and the one we watched last week, Between Worlds, holy shit. Pretty certain, Birdemic, you could even be on acid and it would still be a terrible movie. See, I don't know, though, because the dude that made it had to have been on one big-ass trip. Or he made it while completely sober and then watched the screening of it while on acid and was like, "Yep, put this shit out there. This is fantastic."
And like never watched it again.
And never watched it again.
That's why he defends it.
That's
so
why
hard
he
now?
defends it. Yeah, I think that's had to be the reason.
So bad
Or
he made
mental
another
illness.
one.
He did make a second one that we will never watch. Ever. And he tried to make a third one. He started a Indiegogo to finance a Birdemic 3, and it made literally $20 before it expired. And it was probably his own donation.
Just so it wouldn't be at zero.
Yeah, but literally $20.
What else, Mr. Kelly?
All right, so favorite and least favorite. Mr. Ryan, least favorite part, favorite part.
Least favorite part. The Nic Cage and the lady getting shot in the head
Oh, yeah.
while being observed by a sniper,
Right.
a friendly sniper, that is.
That's not how we thought it was going to go. Eight-Legged Freaks is a cool B-grade movie, for sure.
Favorite part.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the ceiling shot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Just because I saw it coming a mile away. Like, oh god, she's gonna do something really dumb, and sure enough,
See, for me, I liked it. It wasn't my favorite part, but I liked it because I didn't see it coming. I expected her to pick it up and just straight be like,
operator,
like
fucking-
yeah, like 6 rounds in the chest, like just operator as fuck. And instead she was like, "Bruh," and I was like, okay.
Later on, she was operator as fuck.
Yeah, she was.
Somehow.
Shit.
All right,
So my least favorite part, pretty much any part with the bald dude when he wasn't with Nic Cage. Like when he was swimming in the pool, talking to his black buddy, he was just creepy as fuck.
yeah.
When he was talking to the people with the bone meal, like all of the scenes with him without Nic Cage were just weird. Like, just strange to me. I hated him in general unless he was interacting with Nic Cage.
So like his lines were bad. Is what
Yeah.
you're saying? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
Favorite part was actually, so at one point, pretty quickly after they go on the run, they need gas quickly. And so they stop at a gas station, and Nic Cage tries to use his money, and of course they've frozen his account because he's on the run. And so he finds the gas station attendant and basically, like, at gunpoint makes him give up his hidden stash of gasoline. And then at kind of the end of that interaction, Nic Cage is getting ready to bolt because they're coming down the road after their ass is like, now. And the dude stops him and he's like, Are you a good family man? And Nic Cage says, I'm trying to be. And then books it the fuck out of there. So that precedes my favorite part, which is this complete stranger deciding based on no evidence whatsoever that this guy is worth trying to help. And he gets in his big, like, towing wrecker truck, waits for the Dodge Durango fleet to drive by, and then just barrels his truck the fucking on the side of a Durango and kind of gives them a head start. That was my favorite part. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
So Cody Jarrow says, favorite part, Nick almost getting shot in the head. Worst part, Nick not getting shot in the head.
I would agree.
But that's not what happened. He got shot in the head. But it could have been prevented.
Man. And what up with the stupid fucking kid? So the guy, the bald dude, Adam, what was his name? So he let the kid get away. Like, he said, okay, like, we have a deal, and tells the kid to run off into the wilderness. Go be free.
Okay.
And so he hears the gunshots, and comes running back, throwing rocks at the bald dude. Like,
Yep.
fuck. So the rest of the movie, I was impressed with how, like, keen this kid was. Like, he had a good head on his shoulders. He was a smart kid. And then this scene at the end made me so mad.
He should have known that rocks would not hurt anybody.
Well, no, like, and like, what was the plan? Like, oh, he killed your mom and your dad, so we're gonna throw rocks at him, and those are gonna kill him because he's a bad dude. And that'll also stop all the other bad dudes from shooting him back. No, it was stupid. It made me grumpy. So I'm changing my least favorite part to that. That was my least favorite part.
The rock throwing?
Yep. The kid coming back after being set free and throwing rocks at the bad dude, hoping everything would be fine. And that's when the sniper dude
Decided to act.
decided to intervene.
He woke up from his nap in his ghillie suit.
Yes. It's probably what it was.
Punk bitch.
What the fuck? What? That sounds like a kid throwing rocks. Oh, shit.
Well, you want to wrap it, Mr. Kelly?
Yeah, man. I mean, that's all I got to say about that.
All right.
Overall, as always, on a scale of 1 to 10, with Birdemic being a 0 and 10 being like your favorite movie of all time, I would give this a 5. I gave Between Worlds a 3.5. It's the one we watched last week. That was a 3.5. I would give this one a 5. Miss Ryan?
All right.
Agreed?
Yep.
Yeah, you give it a 5?
Yep.
All right.
Noctron, thanks for showing up.
Yeah.
And, or that sounds kind of rude. Noctron, thanks for stopping in.
I knew what you meant, so I was straight up just like, yup.
And hopefully he did too. Cody Jarrow, thanks for the follow.
Yeah,
and
thanks for the
stopping
follow. Yeah. As always, patreon.com/severecinema if you want to make a donation. Twitter.com/severecinema. Facebook @severecinema. Check us out. Find us on YouTube. Give us the likes and follows so we can keep doing these things, guys. And as always, we'll see you next time.